Hello and welcome. So we will be talking a bit about, what's happening with AI and game development. Um, Basically, I'll start with a bit of introduction about me, and then later on we'll discuss, the game teams, how AI is getting more and more important in the game development, and we will go through a couple of examples on different stages of the game development, basically. So I'm Ulash. I have over 25 years of experience. In general, more than 10 years of that is in game development. This is my second mobile gaming studio. My experience was on mobile. I didn't really develop anything on Steam, PC, or console, other than some hobby projects on PC uh, and Oculus back in the time. Um, some of you might also know STC Pay. Basically, I was one of the very early employees on that, and then we, grow from the zero to wherever it is, basically. Uh, then go back to mobile gaming again, and for the last 3 years, we are trying to develop and publish games. We are using a lot of AI right now on all our developments and as well as other stuff which I'm going to tell you. But let's discuss a bit what are the game teams. You will always know that there are developers, artists, game designers, product managers, more people as well, like producers in different games, especially for the bigger games. But mobile games usually tend to have this much of different people in the teams. And basically, the game development itself, I call it like an art and science together. So what we do in general in the mobile gaming is we bring a playable, it come and goes with the ideation, we create a playable, do the ideation again, and then we write usually the first GDD, do some development, try the mechanic itself. It's never the same that as on the paper or what you have in mind. And then if that goes well, we do some early market test, and depending on the market tests, unfortunately, like maybe 95% of the games actually dies at that point, and then some of them goes to global. Now, with the recent developments, let's say, almost in every part of the game development, we started to use AI more and more all the time. Initially, a couple of years ago, or let's say even 5 years ago or something, we were using a lot when we go to global, we were using a lot on the player segmentation, predictions and all these things, but not really on the ideation part, not really on the development or, even for the tests actually. More on the machine learning models were more active there, and it was actually a bit different with the generative models coming into play, and also like large language models, this image models, and some even a lot of different models that came into play. We started to use it more and more, and I will go through some of the use cases that we use on all our games. And I want you to see this in a perspective of, because this is a careers, seminar, and I'm hoping that a lot of you wants to either switch careers to gaming or want to roles in the gaming basically. And whatever from now on, I think this is my opinion, but of course, but from now on, whatever path that you choose, either you're a developer, a game designer, an artist, you really need to start paying attention a lot and using these tools a lot, because in couple of years time, or maybe even months, I'm not really sure, it develops so quickly that people that really uses these tools in a good and better way will have a lot of headroom to grow and will be more attractive to the studios, basically. Artists usually a bit more skeptic on this, but when they start to use it and get used to it, it actually sees that these tools are actually making their lives much easier. Developers are usually more receptive in that sense. So let's go ahead and talk about where we use these and how we use them. Now, the first couple of slides is about the concept generation with AI tools. Now, what you see here is it's one of the games that we are actually actively developing, and we will start testing it in a couple of days or a week time. It's a match 3 puzzle, but with hexagon tiles. Now, when we started to look into this, we said, okay, let's do a hexagon-based match 3 puzzle. Of course, we did a small playable prototype. It feels okay, and after that, we started to look into different concepts. Now, this is already done. I mean, that's the path we always take. We come up with an idea and then sit with an artist, think about, okay, what can this be, what's the game world there, and what can be the concept and all these things. But now with the AI tools, we actually sit with the artist a bit later in the process, because with DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, different models, the game designers now actually try to define what they have in their mind and then come up with different concepts. So these are the initial images that I just put in. Some of them are directly that we used in the not in the game, but when we were thinking about the concept. But some of them I created from with DALL-E and Midjourney. Now, the first one on the right is very initial concept. I just wrote like, okay, I want to develop a game with a hexagon tiles, match 3 mobile game and all these things, and this is what it came out. And then I gave some example from other games, some example images that I want colors to be bright like this, or showing items and icons should be like that, and all these things. And then with the image that you can add into the mix, you actually start to get more style that is actually that you want to go for. Now, when I move ahead, these 3 images, especially the one on the left, is important. I'm gonna come back to that. But I started to check, okay, this is hexagon, so it looks like a honeycomb, and what if we put some honeycomb related or flowers and bees and these kind of things in the game, and then make the colors a bit softer, a bit more appealing with pastel tones to the audience that I want to target for, basically. And then the right image came up. So as you can see, you can actually try different concepts very quickly. At least the color schemas and the different icon types, these are more flat, and these are more 3D-ish, and these are more vibrant colors and all these things. But as a game designer, you can, before you go to an artist to work on what you have in mind, you can actually explore much more right now. You can get a lot of different screenshots from the games that you like, or the audience that plays that you target for, and then feed these into these AI tools and come up with different. It doesn't have to be a screen. It doesn't have to be a complete design, because we are actually doing a concept generation here. So as you see, it moves from different stages and different styles, and I will end up with some of the images that I like, and then I can put this into my GDD and show this into the artist that, okay, I think this is a good style that we can work on. So the artist will have a starting point, and much visual, because you need to understand that different people in the team have different communication styles, especially the artists. They are much more visual than reading something. And the game designers, they tend to like to write a lot in the documents, but if you don't communicate in a visual style with the artists, then it's actually harder to communicate what you want. And these tools actually helps a lot on that sense to the game designers. As you see in the middle, this is a bit more, towards the audience, and I think this looks gorgeous in general, and this can be used in the game. And the one on the left is actually actual image that we used in our concept documents. And the reason that I put it here is when we designed the hexagon shapes or the tiles, we were putting icons like this or like this inside the tile itself. But one of the images that's generated by the AI, it was actually covering all the tile. And now when we saw this, we said, oh, okay, this makes more sense in terms of playability and understanding from the user perspective. And we didn't really think about this in the very beginning when we were designing the tiles. So these tools can not only help you on finding out the concept drawings or the styles and all these things, but also it's like a brainstorming tool for the game designers and artists as well. So if you can use it properly and in a good way, it will actually open up a lot of areas for you. Now, the next part that I want to move in, this is also in concept generation, but also artists are starting to use this more and more because you can actually make art styles and then train these models or fine-tune these image models that can come out with different icons with the same art style that you are using in the game. So after you decide the concept, the artist can actually draw or make 3D models of what you want to do. And then with these in hand, let's say 20, 30, or 50 different icons or something like that, you can actually put this into these tools, which I'm going to show at the end, to generate more same style assets in the game, because when the game goes global, usually it's a content treadmill and you will need a lot of content to go in, and sometimes these tools actually helps in that area as well. Now the next one is I want to show how ChatGPT or similar large language models hallucination, I don't know if you heard the term, is very helpful while designing a game, basically. I mean, everybody is trying to, move away from hallucination and try to avoid it. But for us, when we're designing a game or writing a novel or something like that, it's actually an extremely useful tool, because you want to hallucinate, to, come up with stuff that is not actually in the books or in the training material that the model has. So I'll show you an example. This is just a chat example for a thought idea. I mean, an idea that we have that we want to add in one of our games. This is one of our games. It's an idle arcade game, but it's a bit more polished, and the audience is like 80% female. And we are still in the soft launch phase of this game, and we are trying to decide which direction that we should take after day 7. And the game designer were actually thinking about different things, and we were discussing about adding some story elements into the game. Now, if I can show you this, okay, this looks well. Now, this is one of the chats that I did. So I explained the game, how it works, what the audience is, and all these things. And don't forget, giving the audience and explaining your game a bit to the model is actually important, because you prime the model in the very beginning into what you're talking about. You actually explain what you have, and then it goes and finds out these different things. So here I ask for, okay, give me 7 different stories that, in 3 sentences, because I want to see what came up. So basically in the very beginning, the lost recipe mystery, the rival patisserie, the celebrity patron. These are very, very cliche and a lot used, stories that you can come up with. Of course, it's easy. It just writes down in couple of seconds or a minute. It's much faster than you writing it as a game designer. But you see this, and don't forget the LLMs or these chat models that actually tell you what is in the middle, like what everybody will like most. So first it comes like this, and then you push the model a bit more. It's like, okay, these are extremely cliche. You can do much better, and ask for more, basically. So it changes a bit. It becomes a bit more interesting. You continue. You read these. Okay, these are boring. I want mystery and intrigue, mind-blowing stories or whatever. So it actually comes up with more things. And then I see the time traveling oven and secret agent baker or whatever, that this becomes a bit more wilder, basically, because you want this drama in the stories in the game. And then I say, okay, you know what? Why don't we try Doctor Who, like the stories like in Doctor Who or Rick and Morty series? And then it comes up like dimension hopping dough, time loop tiramisu, and bake off, whatever. Basically, it becomes much more interesting. You don't use it as is, but it's a very good brainstorming tool for the game designers. Okay, let's try reality bending recipe book, and give me the recipe for the 5. It gives the recipe. You can even get it as a JSON if you want to use it in your game. But then I tried these and then came back and I said, you know what, there is another TV series called Midnight Niner. So do you know that one? It says, yes, this is it. So you prepare the model for working on that one. And then, okay, let's go and build some, stories like that. So it builds different kind of stories now. It goes and goes like that. And then you can actually pick and choose in between. So this will give you a lot of time, a lot of different ideas and a lot of different avenues to explore. And then you can come up with, with different things. This is story based, but this is also very helpful for building RPG, level progressions or recipes for the portions, or which we used actually in one of our games. It's very, very easy to use and very helpful for the game designers to come up with all these different details in a lot of games, basically. So let's continue. I want to have some Q&A session at the end. That's why I'm going a bit faster. We also use, the product managers also use a lot the ChatGPT and also some other coding models, basically to analyze our data. We analyze our data in 2 different ways. I'll tell you how it is. One is basically you can use ChatGPT to write SQL queries. You can export your data into an Excel sheet and then upload it to ChatGPT and try to write, ask some questions. So it can actually use Python to, go through this data and create some charts. You can try to find out, run some queries, and from the result of these queries, you can ask help for basically put some meaning into this data to ChatGPT as well. These are new, basically, that came up with ChatGPT and all these large language models on the last year, let's say. But even before then, we were actually using machine learning models and AI in different sense in the product development, like this funnel, stand unlock funnel. It's actually what we do is we have a model that we feed all the analytics data into the model, and then the AI is very good on sorting lots of data, which human cannot really do that well. So what we do is actually we put a lot of data into this AI model, and the AI model comes up with a funnel that it thinks that it is important for some goal. Let's say churn, let's say the retention goal, or let's say the LTV goal, like increasing the LTV. So the first one is actually what we saw here is it came up with this funnel, which is like sponge cake stand, eclair stand, wheat stand. So it shows that, okay, this wheat stand and donut stand actually works well compared to the other stand unlock tutorials, or what you call like the flow of the game, basically. And then like what you do is, this is a different way of analyzing your data. It's usually what you do is you write your queries, create a funnel on a dashboard, and then look into the different the decrease between the funnel steps and all these things. But here, what we're trying is actually, what if we give all the data as is, and then ask the AI to come up with the most reasonable funnels or most reasonable usable data, let's say. Also, the other one in the bottom that you see is, this is like an LTV prediction model, which it creates a tree, a decision tree, and then you can actually, click into these and see what is the most LTV generation path in the data, basically. And according to this, you can actually try to change the parameters in your game, make it longer, make it shorter, make it harder, easier. And then what we do as well, when we create these models, we also create predictions. So in the game itself, like after your first session as a player, or after your first day as a player, we do predict your LTV, or we do predict your likelihood of in-app purchase, let's say, and then change the interval of the ads in the game, or change the what the offers that comes in front of the player, basically. So, but these are much more older users of machine learning and AI in the game development and product management, and these are more on the global scale. Like when the game goes into the global scale, not in the really development, but after the game, when it becomes live and live ops comes into play, you actually analyze all this data using with the help of AI. Basically, this is all that I want to discuss, but there is much more. When you look at the space, there is a lot of different tools are coming in. Like Unity has AI bots that you can easily use, and also AI content generation pipelines are coming into Unity. Unreal 5, if you didn't watch the Unreal 5 video about the release of the new features, I recommend you to watch, because especially for the game world development and generation, it does really good stuff with the procedural generation. Of course, the Stability AI, which is Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, Adobe Layer AI and Leonardo AI, these are the tools that actually came up for the last couple of years, 1.5 years, let's say, and it helps a lot. Like Adobe helped a lot for modifying a lot of different assets for us. We always use Adobe, all the time, but also these generative field and generative related features that came into Adobe on the last 6 months. It was really helpful. Layer AI and Leonardo AI are the two tools that I was telling you that you can prepare your own assets for the same style of the game, and then basically train the models inside these and start generating much more models. I know studios that they are generating assets for the ads, assets for the game itself, for both of these tools. We are testing these as well. We are using like code review and some code generations. Even some of our technical game designers, they even wrote some shaders using help of coding models. We are integrating more and more AI tools into our pipeline, because this helps a lot. But it's a mindset. You need to understand that these are tools. How Photoshop is used by the artist or the IDE, I mean the Visual Studio Code or whatever you use, or Unity engine that you use to make a game development, these are the same. They are tools. They will not magically make you a complete game or whatever. But if you use them well, then it will give you an edge in the job market, especially for the upcoming months and years, basically. So this is all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, we are not too late for Q&A. I can get any questions from you.
Yes. The first question: is there any benefits using meta prompting than just managing process and resources with AI?
Sorry, can I get the question again?
If you open that Q&A, Q&A tab.
Yeah, okay. Meta prompting than just managing processes and resources. Meta prompting, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but let me try to explain. We do have different use cases in the development. One is basically managing process and resources with AI is a way that we use. Like right now, we are checking the ways if we can actually make our project management a bit smarter with AI. But meta prompting, if you mean that using prompts to come up with all these new concept images or ideas in ChatGPT, yes, that is very useful. And I urge you to, all of you, if you're an artist, you really need to understand how these models work, how better prompts are actually makes the outputs much better, and understand how you can integrate these into your workflow. But it's not only for the artists, it's also for the developers and also for the game designers. Game designers, as I show you, you can do a brainstorming sessions. I don't make these sessions too long in one chat. I get whatever I like and put it into a new chat, because the context window of these LLMs are actually a restrictive element into it. But the more you use it, the more you understand how these models work and how these models behave. And there are really funny ways, and people are finding, like, if you actually tell ChatGPT that you're going to tip it with $20 or $100, it gives longer text. And you can actually manipulate it. It's like there are some really funny jokes going around, but they are not really, they really work. Like if you tell it, okay, I don't have any fingers, I need the whole code, can you write it down? And the answer is like 10% better or 15% better, basically. And there are different ways of, you need to play with it and make sure that you understand how to use these tools. It's very much similar to, if you're an artist, you need to know how to use, let's say, Blender or Photoshop, or basically it's a tool. How you need to know. The better you know how to use it, the better you will be. Same thing. If you're a developer, you need to know how the engine works that you're working with.
Thank you, Ulash. Thank you, Ulash. I'm going to ask you to stay here. So it's an opportunity, if more questions coming in, if you could, we need to wrap up and move with the program. Thank you for the presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.